If it is or if it ain't, it's going to come out. Good morning, everybody. It's your girl, Miracle Sims, and you're listening to God, Sex, and Love. Your daily dose of inspiration, the juice. It is September the 7th, 2022, and today the topic is the key to wisdom. Happy Wednesday, y'all. Happy Wednesday. I hope that you all had a great day yesterday. Mine was just fine. Well, my quote-unquote do-nothing day changed real quickly when I realized that I had an interview on someone else's platform, and y'all already know when I'm in Studio B, most likely I had an interview. But yeah, so basically I did that, I want to say like midday, and it was a good conversation. Hopefully, the couple that I was speaking to will come on GSL one of these old days. It's very interesting, like different parts of the conversation, but well, one thing I'm glad that it happened because y'all may or may not know that, on the back end, there's all these different little things and technical difficulties and things that can happen, right, when you're doing something. And so, the beauty of producing your own stuff, I mean, obviously is we can reschedule, we can try it again, and everything like that. And so, yeah, that's pretty much what happened. I think I told you guys a few weeks ago when I was supposed to be on their show, and just different things just kept happening. And things tried to happen yesterday as well, but it's God be the glory that if there's a will, there's a way, and we figured out a way. And finally, we recorded this interview, and I think it went really well. And so yeah, hopefully y'all will be hearing it soon. The interesting thing, like, it's going on the platforms and stuff, and I don't know if people have to kind of like, I don't know if you would say like hype people up, you know what I'm saying? If you go like, this person is an expert in their field, to be on somebody's show, maybe. I don't know, but it's just very interesting, like how people introduce me, like sometimes they'll just read the bio, and other times, I guess, based on whatever interaction they had with me, they go off of that. And so it's just very interesting, like, I guess, what people see or how they receive me, and that's, I don't know, it's interesting to hear and see. And it's a blessing. It's a blessing to, I guess, be seen as somebody that's like, quote unquote, an expert in my field, or or someone that has, I don't know, I can't even like tell y'all like exactly, because I'm not a hyper of myself type of person. I think it's definitely more, it's better to have other people lift you up in that regard. But then at the same time too, I try to be like the angels be, like whenever they try to lift me up, man, I always try to put the focus on where the focus should be, which is the Lord. Because honestly, again, that's the reason why am where I am, and everything like that. And so I guess I share that part to kind of segue into this conversation about wisdom, because not that I say again that I'm an expert, right? And not that I sit here and be like, oh yes, everybody comes to me for advice. And that some people do, but now, I'm not trying to hype myself up and be like, yeah, yes, I'm the advice giver. Come to me and I will give you all the information. But all I can share, right, is what I've done, right? All I can share is my testimony. All I can share is like, hey, this is where I was, this is where I did in the meantime, and this is where I'm at now, in the hopes, again, that whoever's listening to the sound of my voice, would do the same thing, and I mean, ultimately, I guess, to me, that's the key to wisdom. Obviously, as I did this study this morning, there was a few things that stood out to me as like keys. But so basically, okay, y'all might be wondering, how did I get to this topic? So I mean, I know that was a segue, but let me be honest about how I came to this topic today. So long story short, this morning I was looking up a lot of different things. Like they were kind of centered around the same idea, but I think it might have just been for me and not for y'all. So as I was looking up different subjects regarding a particular subject, and then I'm trying to clear my mind. I'm like, well, Lord, and then this other random word came into my heart and mind, and so I looked that up too, which was interesting. And then ultimately, when I was like, Lord, okay, what do you want me to, receive today, and what do you want me to share? That's when this phrase, the key to wisdom, came into my heart and mind. And so as I looked up verses around that, obviously they were resonating, and here we are. But yeah, y'all, the key to wisdom. Well, I mean, if you want to take out your pens and papers, look, grab your journals, everybody. Let's write down the key to wisdom. I mean, I can point out like different points where I feel like stood out to me as quote unquote keys, right? But ultimately, I think it boils down to, like I already shared, that basically not only just hearing the wisdom, right, but then doing, and living accordingly and whatnot. I think that's like the key, honestly. But let's get into what the Bible has to say, right? what things that I came across this morning. So Proverbs 1:7 says, "The fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge. Fools despise wisdom and instruction." Ooh, we started off with pulp. We started off with things we might not like. And again, people hear that word fear and then they think, oh, see, God just wants you to be afraid of him, blah, 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 blah. Again, every time I see the word fear, I think about respect. I don't know if it's just because ministers said it back in the day, or I understand that concept of like a healthy fear, if that makes any sense. Like I have a fear for my parents growing up, you know what I'm saying? Like, and I still do have a respect for them, Now, why didn't they just use respect versus fear? I don't know. I don't know about all that, but I'm just telling you guys what I think about when I see the word. Majority of the time, when it's talking about fear of the Lord, then I in my mind I see the word respect there. Y'all can obviously take that or leave that, but yeah, that's what I see there. And so basically, when you, I guess, think about it in that aspect, the respect of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge. I mean, it's the respect, right? It's the acknowledgement. Yeah, the fear, right? You're acknowledging God. You understand that he's there. You understand that he's this, therefore you understand the position he's in, just all those different things, right? And so it's the beginning of knowledge. So that's just the beginning, right? That's I guess step one. It's like, okay, acknowledging God, right? Is the first step, right? It's a key, right? And then it also tells us what the opposite looks like, right? That verse tells us that fools despise wisdom and instruction. So yeah, I mean, I think I've shared with you guys before on here where I told y'all like after my ex, I kind of deal with critiques a little bit differently, you know what I mean? And it's been I don't know if I have PTSD regarding that or whatnot, or I had, because I don't feel like I'm as bad as I was, but critiques would come with like a little bit of, I don't know how to explain that word, like it would be harder for me to take critiques and whatnot after him, right? And so, not to say that I despise wisdom, instruction, critiques, whatever the case is, but, I just remember not really having an issue with, those things before, and then after him kind of feeling like, ugh, every time somebody was trying to like tell me something about me. Because again, if y'all don't know that testimony already, then, well, long story short, basically he just critiqued every little thing about me. And so I guess if you live with somebody that nitpicks every little thing about you, that's going to take a toll on you, right? In your spirit and everything. So yeah, that's what happened with that. And so, but I don't know, why am I reminded of that in this moment? Well, when I think about this last part of the verse, it says, fools despise wisdom and instruction. We got to get to the point where we can receive, right, wisdom and instruction, not despise it, not, run away from it, not, hate it, right? Like if someone's giving you wisdom, right, and instructions, especially if they're in the position to do so, right? Then, take the wisdom and instruction. Now, like some people say, hey, chew the meat, spit out the bones, everything might not be for you. There is a thing called unsolicited opinions. And, I've dealt with that plenty of times in my life. Like I did not ask for this. But at the same time, again, I can receive wisdom, and then if it's not for me, it's not for me, or whatever the case is, but yeah, just very interesting, just that one verse right there. So already two keys, right? That acknowledging God, having that healthy fear, right, that respect and everything like that, and then also being willing to receive wisdom and instruction. So let's keep going. So then James 3:17 stood out to me this morning. It says, but the wisdom from above is first pure, then peaceable, gentle, open to reason, full of mercy and good fruits, impartial and sincere. So, I mean, hey, all those things sounds great to me, I think we should probably try to be all of that as well. Yeah, I mean, can we, I guess that's another way to know if the whatever the advice or whatnot is for you, right? Or if it's from God, right? Is it lined with things like this, or is it like the opposite? Then I mean, I guess that should help us see, the intention behind the wisdom or the information that is being bestowed upon us. So, I guess hey, here's some things to look for, y'all. Let's look, hey, is it pure, peaceable, gentle, open to reason, full of mercy, all those different things. No, they just stood out to me this morning, so that's the verse to reflect on if you can and will. We got Matthew 7:24. It says, everyone then who hears these words of mine and does them will be like a wise man who built his house on the rock. Yeah, like I already told y'all. Basically, yeah, this is like my main key that I would say personally is that, again, hearing it and then doing it. There's definitely a difference between the two. You can just hear something all the time, right? And then you never do it, you never put forth any action. And then, so what good is that to you, right? But to the person that hears and do, then, there's some benefits from that. And I mean, we'll kind of talk about that in a minute because I know there's another verse I came across. So let's just go to a different one here. It's Proverbs 19:20. Listen to advice and accept instruction that you may gain wisdom in the future. There you go. You're like, so again, we talked about that already, like being willing to receive, and not despise, good wisdom and instruction and whatnot. So yeah, again, listening to the advice, accepting the instruction, why? So you can gain wisdom in the future. Speaking of that, you know what? This verse keeps coming into my heart and mind. So let me just go ahead and go to it. It is ooh. Or maybe I should just keep going in order. Let me see. Yeah, I'll go ahead and read it. So it's Ecclesiastes 7:12. It says, for the protection of wisdom is like the protection of money, and the advantage of knowledge is that wisdom preserves life to him who has it. So, yeah, that verse has been, was standing out in my mind when I read the last verse and the verse that I just read. Because, again, if we look back at those other verses, it was saying, it's like you built your house on a rock, right? And then the next verse after that was saying, you gain wisdom for the future. And so, yeah, if you feel like it's wise or, whatever the case is to protect money and whatnot, how much so should we protect wisdom? And it says here that it preserves the life of him who has it. So if you have wisdom, that preserves your life, right? And that's how you can go and you can gain wisdom in the future. That's why you can have wisdom for the future. The interesting thing about the conversation yesterday that I had, I know at some point they were asking me some things that, I guess it could have tripped me up, for example, if I didn't go through what I went through, and if I didn't have my personal testimony, and if I didn't take out the time to, I guess, study certain things, like, there's certain parts of the conversation that either could have gotten lost to me. Like I could have just been nodding along and whatnot and be like, oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Or, again, if I wasn't sharing my own personal testimony of what God did with me, for me, and through me, um, it could have been something that uh, either tripped me up or whoever listens to me, right? Um, so yeah, it's just very interesting, like, gaining the wisdom, right, and then and sharing that and everything. I don't know. I just was reminded of that for a moment there. Well, let me share with you guys this last verse here. I believe it's no. It's Proverbs 2:6. It says, "For the Lord gives wisdom from his mouth, come knowledge and understanding." So, yeah, yeah. If you need the wisdom, that's where it is. Who can tell us anything about the future other than the one who created it and knows, again, how can I share any wisdom or knowledge that I've gained unless I've been through it? I mean, yeah, I can, or made some observation of some sort. Um, you know, so I mean, ultimately, this is the juice this morning. That ultimately, yes, okay, receive the wisdom, be willing to receive the wisdom, everything like that, and be willing to do whatever, you know, I guess the wisdom giver did, in order to, preserve your life, in order to uh, gain wisdom for the future, and build your house on a rock, y'all. That is the juice. That is the juice this morning. There are some more verses and everything like that you all can peruse and let marinate on your hearts, souls, and minds. The Bible verse of today is Romans 10:9. It says that if thou shalt confess with thy mouth the Lord Jesus, and shalt believe in thine heart that God hath raised him from the dead, then shalt be saved. Excuse me, thou shalt be saved. Friends, I hope you all enjoyed this juice this morning. Thank you so much for listening to God, Sex, and Love, your daily dose of inspiration and juice. I pray you guys can go forth and have a wonderful day, and I look forward to talking to you all tomorrow, if the Lord's will. Bye-bye. Before I let you go, I have to let you know that I am now a brand ambassador for boldfaithcosmetics.com, where faith and beauty intersect. Friends, they have the awesome purpose of wanting to just bring inspiration through makeup. I think that is amazing, and I hope that you all check out their awesome lip colors and so much more. So visit boldfaithcosmetics.com and use the coupon code MIRACLE for 15% off. That's MIRACLE for 15% off.